All right.
Hello.
Hello. We are
Can
live.
everybody hear us?
If you can hear us, can you drop a one and where you're from in the chat, please? We would love to see where everyone's from. Hello
I'm
from
from Miami.
Miami, Vietnam, Spain. Okay, UK. So we're actually all from different places as well. I'm calling in from New York today, in the city that never sleeps, even though I want to sleep. So, my name is Talisha White. I am the community lead here at Lovable, and I'm so excited to have you back for another Lovable live stream. Okay, I see more people coming in. Someone else is in New York. Maybe you'll see me. Toronto, Israel, St. Pete, Florida, Portugal, London,
Yeah.
Ghana, Mexico. Nice. From all over. Oh, that's exciting. Argentina, Texas. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our live stream. We're so excited to bring to you today. We're building a voice AI agent with help from 11 Labs. So, we're going to introduce ourselves, and I think we should kick it off with our special guest today, Angelo.
Hi everyone. Just checking you can hear me. Can you hear me good?
Yes.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Angelo from 11 Labs. I've been at 11 Labs like for 6 months now, and I actually joined 11 Labs after doing a hackathon, which was middle of December, and I think it was like the third week that Lovable had launched. So yeah, super full circle moment for me. And yeah, I work on the conversation AI team, and basically we use our text to speech and speech to text models to make conversational agents that you can talk to, and they talk back to you. And yeah, we have lots of SDKs, and we see a lot of people using Lovable to build with us, and we're super excited to help that out.
Awesome. So, if you don't know, if you're just joining in or if this is your first time here, we are from Lovable, and Lovable is your full stack AI engineer. What does that mean? It means that you can prompt things into existence, as I like to say. You can use natural language and make things, your ideas, into reality. So, we're going to keep with our introductions and we're going to introduce Harry. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi guys, nice to meet you all and see everybody who's joining into the stream again. My name is Harry Roper. I'm an enterprise consultant building AI products for just about everyone. Normally 90% of the time inside Lovable, and I'd like to say that I'm also a Lovable ambassador. I love the tool. We use it every day and been using it since it's been open source. So hopefully today we're going to build some fun stuff together, and I'm really excited to be here. So looking forward to it.
Awesome. And now let's introduce the rest of my coworkers from the Lovable team. Felix, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, super excited to be here. I'm Felix. I'm a designer at Lovable, and I'm working on a lot of UX, UI, product design related things and growth topics. So I'm super excited to be here today and to be chatting about voice AI. Personally, extremely passionate about everything that's design and interface and AI related. So super pumped to be here.
Awesome. And then Christian is going to introduce himself.
Yeah, it's super nice to meet you all. My name's Christian. I'm one of the product people here at Lovable. Been doing a lot of these and excited for some live building, some risky building in live. So let's get to it. I think Talisha, should I maybe do a recap on stuff we've shipped, and then we can maybe hand it over and get to the exciting part.
Yes.
Let's
Tell
do it.
the people what we've got.
Awesome. So I'll be brief. We've shipped some features around security. One is the capability to run security reviews on your code base. This is a GIF or a GIF. It's not running. I expected it to run, but so you'll just imagine that this this kind of works. But the way you invoke or you trigger the security reviews, you click on the publish button, and then you'll see a big start review. And what it does, it analyzes your code base for the sort of obvious security vulnerabilities and loopholes, and recommends a plan to sort of address and fix them. And examples of this could be like hard-coded API keys. It could be unprotected endpoints and RLS policies that might be missing that might sort of expose your data. We've also shipped API detection that will hopefully also be able to sort of see in the GIF or GIF. But basically, what this does is when you copy paste an API key, which is basically this secret password that will enable you to connect to third-party services like OpenAI or Anthropic, it will detect it and it will warn you that this is something that you shouldn't do, because it's a sort of a security risk that these things get leaked and suddenly you have strangers sort of using these tools at your expense. So sorry for the animations, but you will just have to try it yourself directly in the product. What else? We've shipped project filters. So a lot of you, especially those using Lovable in this sort of team context, you end up having a lot of projects in your workspace. It's hard to find the ones that you are working on. And we've basically shipped some filters in the workspace that allow you to sort of basically see your projects, maybe sort them, see the ones that you've sort of edited recently. So this should hopefully make finding and the projects that you wanna start working on much easier. And then last small shout out, we've added labels to the community projects that will allow you to sort of filter out projects based on specific types. So I think we have like internal tools, websites, more personal apps, etc. And this should serve you for all those that are looking for inspiration and you want to be a bit more specific about the examples that we're currently showing in the featured list. I think that's it. There's one last thing. So in chat mode today, you often have like when you're building complex things, especially with Supabase, and you have like logic that is hard to sort of imagine and visualize, you can now ask chat mode to sort of visualize things and sort of show you graphs. And this is super useful when you're trying to debug or get an understanding of the backend that is a bit more black box than the front end. This will only work in chat mode, so you make sure you're in chat mode and please let us know how this feels and whether this is helpful. We're super open to feedback as usual with everything we ship. I think that's it, Alicia. So I think with that said, I think Harry, what are we building? What are we building today, and why are we building it as well?
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Christian. So guys, what are we building today? Well, I've got the awesome Angelo and Felix here to help me should I get stuck as we kind of get through this. But as you've already all seen, like one of the coolest things that you can do with AI now is you can talk to it and you can make it do things, and you can make it collect information for you. And today what we're going to try and do with the limited time that we have is build a voice agent that's going to hopefully help us onboard some of our users. Now, not sure how far we're going to get in this session, so we're going to try and get as much done as possible in the time that we have. But I thought I'd start with a few prerequisites that you'll need if you want to start building alongside with us. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen and we can go through a few of the project starter bits first. If somebody can bring my screen up, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. Cool. Alrighty. So what have we got so far set up? I wanted to skip a couple of steps this time because I feel like the last few live streams we've been showing you guys like this process every single time, right? So what have I got set up that you need if you want to build alongside us today? We've got our Lovable project, and you can see here I've done two things. First of all, I started off with a prompt just to create a blank project so we have something to work with. And then I also connected my Supabase project. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, you can watch last week's live stream where I go through the actual steps to do that. But as you can see here, I have everything set up that I need. What else have I got set up? Well, if you come under your Supabase project authentication on the left-hand side, and then you'll just need to go to sign in and providers, email, and then just turn that confirm email off. That means we can log in without having to worry about setting up an email provider or anything, and it's really useful for testing. The final piece to all of this today, because I don't want to get trolled and my credit card to explode, is I've already added some API keys. Now, we may not be using OpenAI today, but definitely we'll be using 11 Labs. And in this case, I've added the API key underneath our edge functions and then secrets. So that should be all you need to get started today. But if you have any questions, the guys will be watching the chat. So if you do get confused at all, you're more than welcome, and they'll stop me talking and hopefully answer. But with that being said, should we get started, guys?
Let's do it. I do want to point out there is a QR code in the top left of the corner. If you're wondering what's this random QR code, it's for our 6-week accelerator shift, where we have some awesome partners and perks for you to build your own product using Lovable. So you should check that out. It's really cool.
Cool. And while you're typing that, Harry, I have a question for Angelo. Like, it feels like it's still early days for like voice apps, and I'm curious to see, like, from your perspective, what are the use cases that have the most traction that you're seeing, like, already, like, tons of examples out in production?
Yeah, so I think potentially like the least interesting one is the fact that you can basically like automate call centers. So like with Lovable, I have like my dad actually uses Lovable. He has a business in Italy, and they don't have like enough staff to answer the call every single hour of the day. And now with Lovable, he's made a website where you can go in and like put in your login, and then you can call and like find out issues about your orders. Like he has a mountaineering store. So you can find out when your things are going to arrive, what day it's going to come. And he's basically built like a full CRM in like 1 week with Lovable just for his store. But I think the thing I'm most excited about is kind of building personal assistants, building like personal companions that are specifically designed for you. Like they know everything about you. They plug into your WhatsApp, into your Gmail. We think like these are really exciting things. And I think everyone will basically be able to design their own kind of voice companion with time. Yeah, and that's like what we're really looking forward to like supporting.
Awesome. So
Harry, what's the coolest thing you've built with voice?
A lot of things. I think like what's cool is it provides like this new interface to interact with UI. So I think a lot of us have filled out forms for like the last 10 years of our careers maybe. And some people are a little bit burnt out, or like, you know, you've done it so many times. I really like the use case of just being able to like click a button, tell an agent exactly a few things about me, and then it can go away and do something with that information without me having to do too much typing. I'm very lazy. So voice agents are perfect for me.
We actually have the same thing on our docs page. If you go to 11labs.io/docs, you can kind of talk to our docs website, and it will then redirect you through our docs. So like often with a website, like you can't tell like where the page you need is. But with voice AI, you have like this intelligent model behind you that's talking to you. You can just ask it a simple question, and it will take you directly to the page you need without having like 75 buttons on the screen.
That's actually super interesting. I've been recently like talking a lot about how interfaces are shrinking through AI, and especially where, you know, think about voice, then voice is basically replacing buttons, right? I mean, if you can tell an AI what you want to do, then you don't need to click somewhere or like go through certain flows.
Yeah, and that's why if you go to our docs page, like 95% is this big like waveform, just to be like, we are audio, but we don't have to show you that much really. We just tell you like, click here to see our models.
Yeah.
But the rest is like, like just talk to us and we'll take you there.
What I find. You go.
I was just going to say, did I see, Angela, as well, from a case study from 11 Labs, you guys increased customer success by like 80% or something? It really made a difference in regards to customer requests for you guys.
It was more like requests that were coming through our docs website of like, you know, at 11 Labs we're like constantly shipping stuff. Our docs like is in a continuous state of being like slightly behind. So we ship something new and like, oh no, we need to make like 10 new docs pages. But with voice AI, you can just like put it in the system prompt, and then like the voice can just talk to you. And that way you deflect like a lot more tickets coming from your docs, because people just talk and they like find the answer they need.
Awesome.
So I think something that would be great for the people watching, Harry, is to explain what's happening. We keep seeing a red scary screen that could be scary for a lot of people, but I would love to know what you did to get rid of that.
Yeah, never get fearful with the bugs. I guess I'm like brute forcing it at the moment so we can get through. But I'll explain a couple of steps I just took whilst we were all talking, right? So I asked Lovable to implement a conversational AI agent, and I also asked it to add a login page. So it's added the login page here under /auth, which means I've got past that bug I was seeing on the index page. But the other bug that we're facing is because maybe Lovable doesn't know too much about 11 Labs, or in this case, as Angelo said, maybe they updated the docs and there's something out of date. What I love about companies that care about vibe coders, we have this really nice copy page button here. So I'm gonna do a classic, which is you just click copy, you go to Lovable, and we're gonna paste the entire thing in and get Lovable to figure out how to fix this 11 Labs agent for us. So I'm just gonna say we need to update the 11 Labs implementation. Here are the docs. And we'll just paste that in, and hopefully it gives it enough information that it's going to be able to understand exactly what it needs to do to be able to set up this voice agent. It is worth saying as well that before we started the live stream, if you guys saw last week in the last stream, I have a custom design rule that I've put into our system knowledge. Now, Talisha is going to very kindly share that after the stream because I forgot to do it last week. But you should be able to use this to be able to get like a very concise and nice design for your app. We've got a white screen at the moment, so you guys have to believe me, it's coming, it's coming. But yeah, right now, as you can see, Lovable's now going back through that 11 Labs implementation I did. And it's just making sure that whatever it's implementing is matching up to the docs that I gave it. So if you ever get stuck and you feel like something isn't working, whether you can't work with OpenAI or Claude or any other of these other API providers, the best thing you can do is just go to their docs, click copy, paste it into Lovable, and see if Lovable can figure it out for you. I'm going to need to add a black background to this so we can actually see what we're working with. And we'll go from there.
Perfect.
Can you talk a little bit more about the design rule that you embedded in Lovable? Because I find that super interesting. I've been playing a lot around with like what are prompt hacks, users or like people can use in order to get better design outputs. And I would have usually done that in the chat right away. But I find it so interesting that you're basically prompting Lovable even before using it right in the settings. So can you walk us through like what you've done there?
Yeah, of course. So as you can see, here's the UI that is put out. It's using some small fonts and some very simple UI, which is basically what the design rule says. One of the things that I noticed when I was experimenting with prompting is sometimes when you drop in names of famous designers, an LLM can really pick up on that. So in this case, I referenced Dieter Rams and Johnny Ive, who are both two famous designers that inspired a lot of the Apple products. So that helps giving it context of designers that you want. But then also I have here a lot of like the base components already defined as to like what colors I want to use, what borders I want to use, what text sizes I want to use. So this just means when I'm creating new components, each component is going to use that design system rather than trying to either come up with its own look and feel for that specific page or do a different design. How many times, can I ask chat, how many times have you been designing in Lovable or another app? And it does a completely different design on one page in comparison to the other. So for me, it's about consistency with the design and making sure that it always looks the same across the board.
This reminds me, Harry, I'm pretty sure we've had like one of our initial prompts that we used in initial generations for Lovable. It really doubled down on the Steve Jobs Apple-esque look, and I think it sometimes leaked to you. Like you could see it in the chat because it was mentioned as part of the output. So it's super funny that the name dropping, like sort of visionary people that are like leading, like have led or leading in the field, can have such a strong impact.
It's visionary people, but what also works really well is if you actually like reference digital products you like. So for example, if you tell it, hey, look at Linear's website, then or like. Do it like, I don't know, Pinterest style with lots of images. So if you reference actually like a tech product instead of only the designer behind it, from my experience, that actually works really well too.
Nice.
Actually, I just started wondering, is there an equivalent for a prompting voice? Or is that coming?
Yeah, I mean, making sure voices stay the same is already quite like a challenge if you have to like speak for an hour, making sure like it doesn't change. But we have this voice design tool which people like loved way more than we expected to kind of like generate voices based off other voices to create similar ones. Actually, I was going to ask Felix as well. You say you're like really interested in like the kind of UI for voice. I mean, I'd be curious, what do you think like the right way to like get people to trigger like the actual voice conversation is? Like sometimes I find it cringe when you just see like a microphone icon and it's just like,
For sure.
sometimes like the experience with like traditional microphone icons is still like an awful transcription, like doesn't really give you that feeling of like a luxury experience. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm having a little bit this conflict of like, on the one hand, I want to get the feeling that I'm talking to an AI, right? Because like, and so you want to design it in a way that it actually looks like it's a computer that you're talking to. On the other hand, I think I've read this somewhere that, you know, the conversion was almost like higher when you have the feeling you're talking to a human instead, even though you know it's AI. But like, for example, display an avatar, you know, or like display could be an AI generated like profile picture instead of just like talking to like a microphone or like these like animated waves. The conversion of that was higher. So it seems like that users are more willing to open up when they feel like they're talking to like another human, even though, you know, they're not, than talking to like a plain computer where there's just like, you know, a microphone icon. That's definitely something I'm seeing.
Awesome. So we're inside 11 Labs conversational AI dashboard. I've just logged into my account. If you need the API key, which I set at the beginning of the session, if you remember, you can just click your profile and come to API keys and generate one. I've already done that step, so it's already inside the project. And now what I'm going to do is create a new AI agent. We're going to call this our onboarding agent. And I'll start with a blank template. I don't know if I should start with any of these or what you would suggest here.
Let's go for the blank template and we can maybe walk through different like configuration steps and we can generate the system prompt from a prompt or something.
Perfect. Okay. Angela, I'm inside. What do we do?
Cool. Yeah, so if you haven't seen the conversation AI platform before, like basically our goal is to help you make a voice agent as simply as possible. So you can just define the agent's language. You can also define other languages that the agent can switch to. But then kind of you only need to do two things, which are set the first message the agent will say to you. So that can be Harry, whatever you want.
Let's just do something simple for now here.
And then you could also add like a base system prompt, which is going to be like the kind of personality of the agent, and we'll help you out to create a nice system prompt for it.
Nice. So
if you want to click,
do I write a prompt and then click this? Or I'll just click this?
You just click that.
So easy. Wow, look at that, dude. Sick. Okay. I will quickly read this. So we're not Acme Corp. We are Lovable / 11 Labs today. So I'm sure we can include that. And we can replace some of these. Would it be the case, Angela, if we wrote something in here that the prompt improver would try and improve what we already have? Or is it always best to generate the template first and then fill in what 11 Labs has generated?
I mean, either is fine. For the system prompt generation, like our input is the current system prompt and like the kind of refinement prompt you provide. So either is fine. But you could type now something like make this related to whatever.
Okay, awesome. And then let's put some tools at the bottom as well, which I know are some things we can give the agent to do. So in this case, it looks like it's given us a tool for looking up users, accessing a knowledge base, scheduling a follow-up call, and redirecting to support.
Yeah, it actually looks like it's hallucinated these ones. So I think we can probably just take them out.
I'll remove these for now here. Cool. And I know that we'll add something in later, so I'll put these in for now. Looks okay to me though. Probably I should spend a little bit more time reading and refining this, but because we're on a live stream, let's push forward. And I will save that. Cool. So I know that using a different LLM is sometimes recommended. Would you have any tips around what LLM to use based on people's objectives?
Yeah, so the cheapest one and the fastest one is going to be Gemini 2.0 Flash. but it has quite bad tool calling ability. So kind of it's great if you just want to like role play something, but if you're actually using it to interface with your company's data, or like trying to fetch something from Supabase, for example, it's not going to be great because it won't know when to call it. Yeah, Claude Sonnet 4 is like by far the most clever one, and it's pretty good latency, and like very good tool calling ability. And I'd say Gemini 2.5 is somewhere in the middle, where you're still getting like for a good price, and better latency than Claude Sonnet 4, but kind of somewhere in the middle for tool calling ability.
Really nice. And I'll just go over a few of the other features that I think are worth shouting out, although we might not use them today. Temperature allows you to, as it says, create the creativity or the randomness. So also like how much the agent will listen to the person and try and not go out of the guardrails that we set. We also have documentation. You can see here that I've done some already, but it's as easy as adding your URL and then turning on use RAG, which will allow your agent to be able to go and look at your knowledge base and give users answers. So I imagine it's similar for 11 Labs, where they just added their URL and you can hook up the documents. We also have a tool called End Call here, which gives the agent the ability to end the call with the user. I'm also going to add our own custom tool here, which is just going to be called Onboarding Status. And it's going to be client-based. I'm just going to say, use this whenever you move forward a step with the onboarding to update our front end. We can wait for a response, but I will add a parameter, and the identifier here will be status. Cool. Whenever the user answers a question, update the status to reflect this. Sweet. Perfect. Let's add that tool. Great. Anything else we should be editing with the agent?
I mean, kind of depending on where your customers are, like you can add a system tool that will automatically switch to their language. But if you think it's just going to be in English, like that maybe doesn't make so much sense. I think the rest are pretty advanced tools. But for an onboarding agent, the thing I'd probably add is if you scroll to the top, this analysis piece. This is super sweet, and we see like a lot of companies using this. So during a call, we will like take the transcript, and then after the call, we'll evaluate it for you, also just using an LLM. But you could use this, for example, to say like, and I'm sure you'll explain this later, but you could say like, try and figure out what my customer is trying to get out of this software, or try and figure out like what other product they might be interested in, which can be super helpful.
Sure. And this is cool because then the AI will go through and just double check against this evaluation criteria and say, did we succeed with the call? Did we fail? And then, yeah, a rationale as well. So I think I can just put here, pass onboarding. And the idea would be, did the user answer all of our questions? Is there any way that could be improved?
I think that's good enough, yeah.
Sweet, sweet. And then I know here as well that we have data collection, so we can actually collect some different questions. So I want to make sure that we collect the full name, and we'll just put that here so that the LLM knows. We want to collect their hobby. And then I'd also like to collect the start date. Now, everybody's onboarding is a little bit different. I'm just spitballing, but this is going to be very custom to what you want, obviously. And we're just going to see if we can throw this together. There's one final change I want to make, which is that I want to make sure that the LLM knows about this analysis and asks the questions. We can do that in the system prompt. So I'm going to put that at the top here. Your objective, collect the following from the user. And I'll just remove this. Okay, now that that's cleaned up, let's save this. And I'm just going to grab this agent ID at the top. What I'll do then is I'll come back to Lovable. You can see that I'm currently logged in to have this conversation. And at the moment, it's asking me to add the agent ID if I ever want to do this. I'm just going to say hard code the agent ID because we'll only be using one today, which will be our onboarding one.
Maybe
Cool.
we
Harry-
could try the agent out in the dashboard, in the
Sure.
conversation AI dashboard. One sec.
Yeah, and maybe just before you do that, just that, Harry, just for people that are maybe looking at this for the first time and don't really maybe struggling a bit to follow. So basically, what you've done is you've configured this voice agent by kind of specifying all the settings that you wanted to have, and you've basically given the system prompt, which is basically kind of describing the role you wanted to take on. You also added some tools. Which tools specifically? Can you just recap those? There was
So we've got two. We've got one that tells us the onboarding status, which is client based. So that means it will make the call on the front end. And then we have the end call, which is the default tool that the agent's given. This means if the agent thinks the call's ended, it can end it preemptively. We don't need to tell it hang up or stop the call.
Makes sense. And then the last bit there and the other tab was defining the evaluation. Why is that important, Angelo? Like this evaluation, that's the only part. Yeah, the evaluation criteria. Is it to just understand whether it succeeded or not for improvement purposes or?
Yeah, exactly. So our API will tell you like how many calls succeeded or failed based on like, was our infrastructure able to provide the call? And if our infrastructure does that, we'll count that as a success. But maybe you want to say like, if the user says, wow, I hate this, that's also a failure.
Yeah.
So we let you do like a bit more layering on top of like the success criteria that you need. And so basically, not only do we have to host the call correctly, but we also have to make sure that the LLM evaluates all of these to be true for us to consider the call to be successful.
Makes sense. And then the last bit there that I think you moved away from, Mary, was just the actual fields you're trying to kind of collect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So here we have that. And then at the end of the call, we should get this, which will be awesome. I'm going to just see if I can test it. I'm sharing my tab, so I hope you guys can see or hear, sorry.
Hello and welcome to your onboarding.
Can we hear that?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
Hey, thank you for welcoming me. I'm here to do some onboarding.
Wonderful. I'm Alex, your onboarding specialist here at Lovable in 11 Labs. I'm so excited to help you get started with our platform today. To make sure we cover everything you need, I'll be collecting some information from you during our call. We'll go through your start date, learn a bit about your hobbies, get your full name, and also review any conversation evaluations if you have those available. Let's start with something simple. Could you please tell me your full name? Great. Now I'm just waiting for you to provide me with your full name.
Okay, so my full name is Harry Roper.
Perfect. Harry Roper, it's great to meet you. I've got your full name recorded now. Next, I'd love to know when your start date is with us. When are you planning to begin using our services?
Tuesday, whatever date that is. My hobbies are skateboarding and snowboarding.
Excellent, Harry. I've got your start date as next Tuesday, and I love that you're into skateboarding and snowboarding. Those are some really exciting hobbies that definitely keep you active and adventurous. Now, the last thing I need...
Thank you very much. The last thing you need is what exactly?
The last thing I need from you are the evaluation results for each conversation in your history tab. Do you have access to those evaluation results? And if so,
I do not have
with
access to the evaluation results, but thank you. This was a good call.
That was fun. Someone is asking a question. How was the graphic motion put in?
Ooh, very nice question.
Is that a question for so?
It is for 11 Labs.
I believe that's been there for a few months now. It's always been like that since I was there. So
same.
But 11 Labs just automatically does that. You don't have to code that on your own. And you can change the colors, right, Angelo?
Yeah, you can change the colors and we give you like a little HTML snippet. So if you want that widget inside your website, you can do that. Or you can use Lovable to use like our React SDK to like kind of custom implement it yourself.
And that's what we did by copying, if you guys remember, the docs from that getting quick started page, putting it into Lovable and asking Lovable to get started. I just want to see
Hello
if
and
this
welcome
works.
to your onboarding.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. I'm Alex, your onboarding specialist here at Lovable in 11 Labs, and I'm really excited to help you get started with our platform today.
Okay, awesome. It looks like crap, but it's working, which is awesome. Yeah, cool. So you'll see here the 11 Labs tried to make that client tool cool, but we don't have anything on the front end at the moment to let the agent do that and make some changes. So without spending too much time thinking about UI and cleaning that up, which we can focus on in a minute, I want to just make sure that we can show the onboarding status, which it's trying to call here. Now, what I can do, once again, is I can go to the 11 Labs documentation. You can see here that there's tools and client tools. So client tools are basically, they allow our assistant to trigger stuff on the front end. And in this case, what I'm going to do is just click copy page and bring that over. I'm also going to tell Lovable what tool I have here. So I'm going to say I have a tool called onboarding status that is a string that the LLM can use to show onboarding status. Can you show this in a card and change it whenever the tool is called? And then we're just going to put the docs underneath so that gets added.
I think we're still looking at the 11 Labs docs page, Harry. There you go.
My bad. Here we are.
Cool. There's a question,
So, yeah.
Like, how is this? I guess to you, Angelo. Does 11 Labs have a free tier, and how much allowance, and then how does pricing work? Like, for those asking.
Yeah, sure. So we have a free tier. You will get, I think, something like 15 minutes worth, or sorry, maybe 1 hour worth of conversational AI minutes. Very soon, we're going to be making it so that everyone that signs up to 11 Labs gets 200 minutes of credits. And also, we're going to be supporting the Lovable Ship program, and you'll get 3 months of the creator plan if you join that. So that's probably like 250 minutes a month. So yeah, 750 minutes if you sign up for Lovable Ship. But generally, like as you scale, it's going to get a lot cheaper. But kind of headline rate is going to be like 8 cents per minute.
Makes sense.
Awesome.
So you should sign up for the bullshit. Scan the QR code. Shameless plug.
Scan it for Talisha, everyone. And chat, it may sound like 15 minutes is not a lot. It is a lot. It will, you will get a lot done with the free tier for sure. So I recommend trying out 100%. Okay, I think we're making progress. Let's see what the onboarding status
Hello
says.
and welcome to your onboarding.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there. It's going great. Thanks for asking. I'm Alex, your onboarding specialist here at Lovable in 11 Labs. I'm really excited to help you get started with our platform today. I'll be guiding you through a few quick steps to make sure you have everything you need to succeed with our services. This should only take a few minutes, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have along the way. To get us started, could you please tell me your full name? Also,
my full name is Harry Roper.
Perfect, Harry. It's great to meet you. Thanks for providing that information.
So that's awesome. Looks like the front end here is changing the status, which is really cool. And we also have a conversation transcript down here as well. So I think this is my time to ask our resident designer, Felix, how could we improve the design of this app so far, now that we've got like the base of 11 Labs working?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like my favorite design rule is always try to get rid of everything you don't need, right? And I think when you think about interfaces, then the best designs are the ones where they are reduced to an extent where you can't take anything else away. Otherwise, it wouldn't work anymore. And I have the feeling that, and that's one. And the second one might be like, we need to add certain hierarchy into an interface for users to kind of get better focus. So I think what we should ask ourselves is like, what is the primary goal that we're trying to like achieve here? And then how can we design our interface around that?
Really nice. So if I was to be courageous and put myself on the stand, I'd say we're onboarding users. And the idea is to guide them through an onboarding process to the end, and then we can collect their information, right? So maybe we could make this a little bit more step-by-step, the view, and it's not all in just one screen to begin with.
Yeah, I think that makes completely sense. So when you think about focus, then I think, yeah, it does make sense to like display everything right away, right? I think you want to make sure that you focus on one step after another. And so that would probably be the first step. And like how do we design this interface in a way that we have a better focus on like one step after another?
Sure. Okay, so let's clean up this process. We're going to, I'm talking and prompting, which is not a good idea. Okay. So let's refine the design of the user dashboard and the onboarding experience. We want to create a step-by-step flow that takes the user through the journey.
And maybe you can also include that you would like to include an indication on like about like where the user is in the flow. That always helps a lot with orientation. And the more we care about helping users to feel really comfortable, the more likely they're going to kind of be like to go through this. So let's see what we're ending up with.
Yes. And then let us achieve world domination with our app. I like it. I like it. Sick. Alrighty.
And I think especially maybe like as a last comment on this, especially since we're designing with voice, I feel like we're not displaying a lot, right? So I think it's especially important to help users understand what they're currently doing and where they are in a certain flow. Because it's not like going through different flows and screens. It's more like, you know, yeah, kind of it's conversational, right? So I think if there's already an interface, I think it's important for us to make sure that no one really gets lost, and we provide enough context and like, yeah, orientation in a way that, yeah, they feel comfortable using the product.
Nice. Well, let's see what we'll get from here. I'd be interested to know if 11 Labs have seen any creative interfaces around voice agents, Angela, and what you guys are sort of seeing at the moment across the board.
Yeah, I think so I think one of the things that's difficult with voice agents is they can't really yet see the DOM, like they can't see what's on the screen, but they also have to help you out to navigate the screen. And so like I've been working with a company that helps you book flights by voice, and like a flight interface, there's like so much going on. Like, you know, you put your arrive on departure airport. And like at 11 Labs, we provide some functionalities that help you give this kind of context to the model, where you can send it some text, which the model knows has not been spoken during a conversation. And it's just like an extra system prompt during the conversation. But you have to be really clever about how you send that information and how you update it. So they've done some really clever things where they like tell the model each time the user clicks on the screen, like they've clicked that they want this airport here. They've clicked they want to fly like at this time. And so you're like continuously updating the conversation. Like definitely for people watching, this is like very advanced feature. But when it works really well, like you're then talking to the model, and it's like you actually feel like you've got someone helping you book a flight that like kind of understands everything.
Yeah,
it's really hard to get right, but when it works, it's like really incredible.
It reminds me, maybe just quickly pick up on this. It reminds me a lot about just I think you need to be really good in providing context when it comes to building AI models. The best AIs are the ones that fundamentally understand who you are and like how you behave as a human. And I think if you provide that context and like observe how you would usually book a flight and you tell the AI about that, then I think it will obviously be way easier for it to help you out and like act as you would. So it's a lot about context. And
they're an incredible team. I mean, they've done some interesting things where like the model knows kind of what flights you've already previously looked at, which ones you're looking at on the screen right now. Like engineering that is like very tricky.
Insane.
But I'm sure we'll get there.
And it's about the details as well, right? I think I could imagine that, you know, they would probably even know where you prefer to sit in the plane. You know, what's your like preferred seating and like everything. And I think the more details and context you provide, the better the experience.
Yeah, but then I think also like, we're early on this, but give it 1 year when this is like a lot. We'll put the tools in place to make this easier, because the kind of like experience that you have is just incredible. Like compared to calling somebody that doesn't know you, has no idea what's going on. Like it's just such a massive difference.
But how do you then, because I actually find that I feel like this is actually the hardest part to get right, providing context before using kind of a voice agent. How do you think about that at 11 Labs? Like, how do you make sure that before I start interacting with a voice agent that enough context is being provided?
Yeah, I mean, this is also especially tricky when we're trying to deploy like over the phone, where phone lines were never really designed for you first doing like some 5 seconds of processing, extracting the context. So it's a very tricky issue. We do some funky stuff in the background where, like, for the first 5 seconds of the call, we're just using like some basic system prompt to like allow the conversation to start quickly, but then kind of after the first 5 seconds, only then have like a complete system prompt with all the context loaded. I think that's like an easy way to make the experience feel better, because in the first 5 seconds, nothing's really important is being said yet anyway.
Which also makes sense, like looking at what we're building here now, right? It's like an onboarding experience, which is like a great place for us to design a flow where we provide more context. So
yeah,
let's see where we're ending up here.
Felipe in chat says an agent like this sitting on top of your CRM would be killer. I think there's a lot of really cool use cases here. I don't know why my prompts are being ignored when I'm asking to combine the design, but I will keep going. Looks like my microphone passed the test. Now I do my first chat. Awesome. Next steps, blah, blah. Okay. Looks like I'm facing some UI stuff, so I'm going to use my favorite trick here, which is to take chat mode, because maybe the agent that's doing the editing doesn't exactly understand what I'm trying to achieve here. And I'm just going to ask it to help me refactor a bit of the design. So I'm going to say the step-by-step works, but we don't see the onboarding status card or the ability to start the conversation. We shouldn't be able to move past the onboarding voice chat until we have completed the call.
Well, that runs, Harry. Somebody was asking about chat mode a couple minutes back. They were asking, what was the real difference between prompting in chat mode and then clicking on the implement plan versus just prompting it directly in chat without going through chat mode?
Yeah, so the main use case of using chat mode here, I'd say, is that sometimes the editing agent doesn't have full context of your entire project and all the code that it's working with. If we look at chat mode here, it's invoking some tools to read some of my code, and it's doing a little bit of thinking before it makes the edit. So if you ever get stuck with a bug or anything like that and you're struggling to move forward, it might be worth just turning on chat mode and getting it to look at everything that you have already, letting it understand what it needs to do, and then it can give you a little bit more of a plan. In this case, it's gone and read some of these like individual components I was struggling with, and now it's put together a little bit of a plan. So like show the voice interface on step 3, conversation validation, update the step logic, improve the UX and flow as well. So hopefully I'm going to be able to do this and show Felix something that looks good, because I feel a little bit of pressure at the moment with the design.
No pressure.
Never ask,
a bit better, right?
Never ask an ambitious designer for what they change.
But yeah, I think it's really cool, and it's really easy to see how quickly this is. We've got the agent working, adding some text to our front end in about half an hour, 40 minutes. So you can imagine if you guys take this tool along with Lovable and really play with it, you can imagine what you can build in a day or 2 days in this case.
And also, I mean, this might not be the final design, right? But the fact that we got this running in like 30 minutes is pretty crazy. And
yeah,
from a design point of view, I mean, it's the normal process, right? I guess one of the biggest learnings I had in my entire design career is always like you end up designing the best products by just like you build something, you ship it, you learn, and you iterate. Like, don't expect this to be like the first final product. And so I kind of like the process that we're having here. It's like, we have something live there, like out there, and now we can just improve it step by step.
I mean, I'm very impressed with Lovable, I have to say. I thought I would be doing more debugging during this conversation, and turns out we were just chatting about UI interfaces. So like, hats off to you guys. Like, I actually was not expecting that at all.
Oh, Talisha, there's a good question for you here from Wagner. He says, hey, Lovable team, regarding the shipped, can I apply if I have a project already started with Lovable?
You sure can apply. I like to tell people, unless you've raised millions and you have millions of users, Shipped can definitely help you. So even if you started a project, you can still apply from Shipped, and you can benefit from our amazing partners and perks, to our amazing mentors, and the knowledge you're gained from hearing some of our speakers. And we have some really good speakers, y'all. I can't wait to tell y'all. I'm actually kind of like, oh my gosh. So there's some really great speakers that are come talk to you about building, not only just from a software perspective, but from a business and marketing perspective as well.
Epic, sign up, the code is there, do it. Just in terms of prompting, I've realized there's a lot of different components. I really like the word that Felix used, which is a unified interface that gives like really great context to the agent about what I'm trying to achieve. So here I'm saying please, because that usually adds a little bit of extra, I find, with the prompting magic. And then also refactor fully, so giving it permission to change a lot of components and try and combine a lot of components. So we'll see how we do here with this one.
What could also help is not showcasing everything on one page, but actually making sure that we separate it into an actual flow. So like we see one step after another, and not everything on one page, and you scroll down. Could be another prompt.
That's a good idea.
And just to clean it up and get a little bit rid of this like messy, messy interface.
There is so much going on. Nice.
I think it's interesting when you're transitioning from design tools where you have full control to like the chat interface. We're still in the time where it's like a bit in the messy middle, right? We haven't found the right balance. One is still a bit too abrupt. The other one is too slow. And for me, what's very interesting is we've done some of it with visual edits and Lovable, which is like a bit of a bridge between the two modes. But I'm excited to see what's the next version of visual edit. So how can you improve the sort of middle stage between sort of basically demanding in prompts and actually doing point and click. Because this is a bit so the challenges I think we're seeing. It's interesting.
Yeah, completely. And also, I think right now you're still prompting, right? You're putting in text, you're chatting. I think we'll probably at some point have this that you just keep talking. You talk to Lovable about what you want to change, and it's way more conversational. And maybe we have 11 Labs integrated, right? That you also get a response that Lovable has its own voice. We should talk about that, Angelo. Lovable voice.
I am absolutely here for it. We could get Anton's voice like a nice soft Swedish talk.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing.
But in general, I think voice actually will be a good way to if you have background agents running code for you, maybe I just want to go on a walk and see the thing on my screen, and then I just want to really quickly give it some feedback about the next step. Actually, voice might be a good modality for that, for example.
Yeah, and I almost feel like the smaller the screen you're interacting with, so take a phone, the less relevant it will be to see a lot of buttons and a lot of So I can always see, Christian, maybe we should talk about that. I can always see Lovable mobile is just going to be voice right away, because the screen is so small.
Yeah, and I think you would only see the preview.
Exactly.
You might see the code flashing, and then the code generation is done. Show me the preview, and then it starts listening again if you have any feedback.
I mean, I'm loving voice mode in the LLM client apps on my phone. Like I'm in the train, I have this email I want to write. I want to sort of like do some brainstorming. I'll just whip up a live voice real-time conversation, and then I get to the office and I have my my ready-made email, copy paste it, and then send it. It's been super nice. People think I'm talking to a friend or someone I know, so it's not weird.
Yeah.
It actually works pretty nicely.
Alrighty. Well, let's see if my final prompt for today can get us further. I took your advice, Felix, and have split it into separate pages. So we will try. I'm very happy that we got the 11 Labs stuff done first. Now we're just wrangling with UI rather than 11 Labs itself. And it just goes to show how easy it is to integrate 11 Labs. So nice job to you and the team, Angela. Really smooth.
And yeah, I mean, the other thing I would say is like investors out there, like currently voice AI is a like huge thing at the moment. And I think it's like the underexplored at the moment kind of vector for AI. So I think there's like real opportunities to do stuff now. And like, I think vibe coding, like a website, getting a demo out there and just like iterating based on user feedback. Like you can do that with 11 Labs and Lovable together super quickly. And I've seen it like happen multiple times with friends of mine, with customers, where like you can go from 0 to 1 to a round raised like in weeks. So yeah, definitely check out 11 Labs if that's something you're into. Definitely build it on Lovable as well. And yeah, if you guys want to do voice mode, you also know who to talk to.
Good point. Fair enough. Cool.
Great. So I've got a little onboarding process. So let's do a quick recap of what we built today and what we've been up to. So we used 11 Labs to create our first onboarding agent for an app to help users enter information a little bit easier, but also make the experience a little bit more fun and interactive. I can test my audio setup and go through, but I can also have a conversation with an agent. So let's try this one more time. Hopefully I didn't break anything with my last prompts.
Hello and welcome to your onboarding.
Hello, thank you. My name's Harry Roper. How are you?
Hello, Harry. It's wonderful to meet you, and I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
I'm Alex.
Awesome. I think there could be a lot more refinement in terms of UI, UX, and experience, right? But like, pretty cool that it works, and we can see that it's integrated with the app. So hopefully, what I want you guys to take away from this session is how we set up the agent, all the individual bits that we did, and how we integrated it into Lovable, so that you can build your own voice agents with Lovable as well. Hope that's helped. If you have any other questions in regards to the building on the front end, I'll be in the Lovable Discord for a bit if you want to chat.
Amazing. And maybe for everyone who's interested in how do I up-level UI design with Lovable, we've recently been publishing a prompt guide that basically has a bunch of like prompts you can copy paste and kind of use to create components and just uplift your entire design. We're going to make sure to share the link with you.
All right, let's go. This will be on YouTube. We're trying to do this weekly. So yeah, just subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to be notified when this goes out. And thank you again, Angelo, for joining.
Thank you guys. It was wonderful.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Again, if you want to learn how to build your ideas into real products, apply for Lovable Ship, scan the QR code. Make sure to check out 11 Labs, build cool voice agents. Harry, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on YouTube, Harry Mackay Roper, or if you want to see a little bit more about the things I'm building, imaginaryspace.co.uk.
Awesome. And you can find us at lovable_dev. And where can we find 11 Labs on the internet, Angelo?
It's 11labs.io or at 11labs.io on Twitter.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, very much. I just combined all the words.
You guys.
Thank you, everybody, very much. We're so excited that you joined us. Let us know what else you want us to build in the future and come back next week. And we're going to build something else really cool. Maybe we'll build AGI.
Talisha, just because a few people are asking, where are we sharing the prompt guide link? Are we sharing that in Discord?
Yes, I'll share it in Discord. I can also share it on Twitter.
Amazing. Then we'll do that.
Awesome.
All right,
Bye-bye,
everyone.
Lots
See
of
you
love,
around.
guys.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.